Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Eat Vegas, your guide to the good, the bad, and the delicious. Once upon a time, steak deals were everywhere on the strip. Thick cuts, low prices, neon signs boasting $5.99 ribeyes. Sadly, those days have gone the way of $1 a gallon gas. But don't worry, you won't need to pawn your Elvis mug collection to afford a delicious steak just yet. Bargains are to be had, and that's what we're here for. We do the digging so you don't have to. Today, I'm revealing a few hidden steak deals around town, the kind even longtime locals only whisper about. So grab your steak knife, buckle up, and let's get started. Our first stop is Rí Rá Irish Pub. This isn't just another themed pub, it's the real deal. Tucked away inside Mandalay Bay, this longtime locals' favorite is a love letter to all things Irish, hand-carved in oak and steeped in history. Nearly everything you see inside, from the back bar to the wainscoting, was salvaged and shipped directly from Irish taverns and estates. Some of the wood even comes from the Belfast shipyard during the constructing of the Titanic and her sister ships, the Olympic and Britannic. So yeah, the decor alone in this place could spin quite a yarn or two. And while you're soaking in the old world charm, you might want to wrap your head around this. Every Friday, they offer a 40% discount to locals on their entire food menu, including a grass-fed 12-ounce New York strip steak, bringing the price down to under $23. And keep in mind for all other guests, every day there's a 3 to 6 happy hour where all appetizers are 50% off. What a deal. This isn't your average discounted steak. It's a proper 12-ounce hand-cut strip, beautifully seared and juicy, especially if you like it rare as we do. But no worries, they'll cook it however you like. It's served with not one, but 2 sauces, a rich garlicky butter that melts into the beef, and a deep, earthy mushroom sauce that's equally good slathered on the fries. There's a hearty side of grilled onions and sautéed mushrooms as well. Classic steakhouse comforts done right. You can immediately taste the quality. This isn't mass-produced feedlot beef. It's sustainable, pasture-raised, and imported straight from Irish farms. The cows are grass-fed, then grain-fed the last 30 days to add that luscious marbling and umami depth. And that's the sweet spot, producing a flavorful and tender steak. Well seasoned with salt, pepper, and garlic, I was shocked at the quality. For $23, it's a no-brainer. And as if that weren't shocking enough, let's talk fries. These aren't frozen sticks from a bag. They're hand-cut and double-fried, just as they do in France and across much of Europe. It's the only way to do it properly. We use the same technique in our restaurant. And I'll tell you, once you've had them this way, there's no going back. Anything less tastes like, well, let's just say a certain California burger chain's limp offerings come to mind, which in and out, through and through, can't hold a candle to these fries at Rí Rá. Our server asked if we were dessert people. Had me thinking of a possible Hollywood script, Attack of the Dessert People. Anyway, when we affirmed, she practically lit up. Then you have to try the whiskey caramel bread pudding, she said. It's made fresh, so you'll need to order it early, but trust me, it's worth the wait. The 2 charming ladies seated beside us, who seemed like regulars, leaned over and whispered, "Get the caramel ice cream with it." And at just $2.37, well, yet another no-brainer. When it arrived, the whipped cream was already sliding off the top. Reminded me of the old Vincent Price flick, The Wax Museum. Anyway, my first bite had me thinking, okay, classic bread pudding, good, rich, custardy, but then I added a spoonful of their house-made sea salt caramel ice cream. And kaboom! A flavor explosion. The contrast of hot and cold, sweet and salty, creamy and toasty, it all came together in one unforgettable bite. If you order the bread pudding, and you should, don't even think about skipping the ice cream. This isn't just dessert, it's the happy ending of which every meal dreams. Rí Rá is one of those rare finds that hits all the right notes: atmosphere, authenticity, value, and flavor. It's the kind of place you come for the deal, but stay for the people. The staff is warm, welcoming, and many of them are actually from Ireland, with the accents to prove their pedigree. The vibe is lively, but never too loud, like a good Irish pub should be. If you're a Vegas local looking for a killer Friday meal, come hungry, ask for the steak, but keep in mind the entire food menu is a whopping 40% off. And if you're a visitor craving a bit of the Emerald Isle without the jet lag, Rira is a dynamite option, especially from 3 to 6, when it's 50% off all appetizers. Before Summerlin rose up, with its master-planned golf course communities and obsession with roundabouts, there was the Lakes, one of Las Vegas's first upscale residential communities, developed in the 1980s. It was built around a series of man-made lakes with the idea of offering desert dwellers a unique waterfront lifestyle. While it may not have the flash of the Strip, it quickly became a quiet hideaway for locals who wanted palm trees, paddle boats, and tranquil waterside sunsets. And nestled in the middle of all that serenity, the Lakes Lounge, a no-frills casino restaurant that's been quietly feeding locals for decades. It's new, old-school Vegas at its finest. Strong drinks, regulars at the bar, video poker machines humming in the background, and comfort food that doesn't break the bank. From their specialties section of the menu, we ordered the 10-ounce top sirloin. This deal includes your choice of potato, which could be either fries, thick or thin, mashed or baked, and either one of their house-made soups or a salad. I started with their cheeseburger soup, and let me tell you, it's a wonderful, soothing bowl of warm comfort. Creamy, cheesy, loaded with ground beef, potatoes, and veggies. It's hearty and delicious, and we're off to a great start. Then came the top sirloin, a beautiful steak with textbook grill marks. I ordered it charred rare, old school black and blue style for any of you old enough to remember that term. Our server looked at me as though I was crazy. Anyway, they nailed it. The beef itself was fresh, juicy, but very under-seasoned. A little salt, maybe a knob of butter, some garlic, and it would have been a big improvement. Still, for the price, a very good deal. The mashed potatoes were creamy, buttery, and satisfying. And the mixed vegetables were lightly sautéed with garlic and butter. Nothing mind-blowing, but adequate. This is your budget-friendly beef fix. A thin slab of grilled steak, nestled in a roll and served with crispy steak fries. I brought my own ketchup as usual, the same one I used to make at my restaurant. The sandwich had a great sear, but as with the sirloin, it could have used a touch more salt. Well, nothing too difficult to fix. And with the addition of some mustard, tomato, and onion, it was very flavorful. And putting flavor aside for a second, the one real drawback with this dish is it's difficult to eat without pulling the entire steak out of the bun on each bite. Well, I guess you can't have everything for just $11. The other day I saw a glass of soda going for $8 on the Strip, so it's pretty hard to quibble with this dish. Though this video is about steaks, as you all know by now, I have a serious sweet tooth, so I couldn't resist getting the apple cobbler, especially after our server Giovanna told us it was homemade. Whatever you do, save room. This cobbler is made in-house and served warm with a scoop of vanilla ice cream, melting over the top like a hug from Grandma. Tart apples, cinnamon spice, buttery crumble, it checks all the boxes. This is comfort dessert at its finest and the perfect finale to a meal. The Lakes Lounge may not have gilded marble walls, curved escalators, or celebrity chefs, but it delivers where it counts. Flavor, value, and that old Vegas charm. If you're hunting for great steak without the Strip markup, this hidden gem is well worth the trip. Come for the sirloin, stay for the prime rib.
Wait, what prime rib?
Well, that's a delicious story for another review coming soon. And if you were a subscriber right now, you'd get a notification when new reviews come out. But, according to YouTube, 80% of you watching right now aren't subscribed. Shocking. Subscribing is free, helps us grow and to bring you more reviews. And if you find value in our reviews, consider making a small donation using the link to buy me a coffee in the description area below. Our next spot is The Bonfire. This place is truly puzzling. It's a bar, it's a steakhouse, it's a raucous rockers retreat where bikers go to die. Seemingly trying to be all of that and more. Confused? Well, so were we as we stopped in. Blaring headbanger music, regulars at the bar, pool tables, live band stage, and a small dining area. You may not be greeted right away and consider leaving, but if you're here for some unforgettable food, stick around and grab a table. Bonfire isn't tucked into a resort or headlining on the Strip. It's the kind of place you breeze by without realizing you're walking right past a foodie's goldmine. It may seem more about the edgy vibe than the food, but then you meet Chef Mario, a one-man culinary band who doesn't cut corners. He reminds me of myself back in the day, proud, passionate, and obsessed with scratch-made cooking. Nothing leaves his kitchen unless he's signed off on it, and almost everything, from the mayo to the marinara, is made with his own two hands. While this review is focused on steaks, after speaking with Chef Mario, we had to try some starters, and so glad we did. I feel it would be reviewer malpractice not to tell the world about them. First, we tried the jalapeno poppers, and this is no ordinary dish. Fresh, vibrant jalapenos, packed with a cream cheese filling, wrapped in thick-cut bacon, and baked until the edges caramelize and the bacon turns into crispy magic. They're served with Chef Mario's from-scratch ranch dressing, thick, tangy, and a far cry from the watered-down stuff you get in a lot of places. It's a kind of appetizer that makes your tongue do a happy dance. Say goodbye to the frozen food truck version of mozzarella sticks. This mozzarella is freshly sliced, coated in hand-ground breadcrumbs, and fried to a light, airy crunch. The breading is so delicate and crisp, it shatters in your mouth. And the house-made marinara, it's bright, garlicky, and just sweet enough to balance the richness of the cheese. It's the type you might imagine an old-school Italian grandmother would create if she decided to prepare bar food. This might just be my favorite bite of the night. Creamy, ultra-cheesy macaroni, portioned into perfect cubes, breaded in Chef Mario's signature breadcrumb mix, and fried to a golden brown. The inside is silky, cheesy comfort. The outside is a crunchy shell of joy. And then comes the dipping sauce. His homemade cheese sauce, which I highly suggest you either dunk or completely smother each bite in. You'll never want boxed mac and cheese again. And now, back to our regularly scheduled steak review. This hand-trimmed ribeye is a carnivore's dream, cooked with nothing more than butter, salt, pepper, and fresh garlic. The flavor is rich, bold, and deeply savory. It requires not a single additional grain of salt. This steak isn't just cooked, it's crafted. The marbling melts as it cooks, and you can cut through it with the side of your fork. On the side, you get a house-made chimichurri that's vibrant and herbaceous. We added mashed potatoes, which were buttery, creamy, and absolutely soul-soothing. Even the broccoli surprised me. It's not some limp, frozen afterthought. It's fresh, steamed just right, then sautéed in garlic and butter until it tastes like something you actually want to eat. What a standout dish. The Bonfire is what happens when a passionate chef gets complete control of his kitchen and refuses to compromise. Chef Mario isn't just running a grill, he's leading a revival of real cooking in a city that's seen too many frozen shortcuts. This is a place where every bite tells you someone cares. You won't find slick marketing or celebrity endorsements, just honest food, loud music, and some of the best damn steaks in town. Whether you come for the music, the drinks, or the mouth-watering food, you'll leave feeling like you found something unusual and special, because you did. So go to Bonfire, order the steak, say hi to Chef Mario, and thank me later. Found inside the Poker Palace Casino in North Las Vegas, Maddie's Patty Cafe isn't what you'd call glamorous. When I first pulled up, I immediately pictured Betty Davis squinting at the building, clutching her pearls, and muttering, "What a dump!" And yet, there's a kind of dusty charm here, A throwback to the days when every neighborhood casino had its own little cafe, serving graveyard steaks and bottomless coffee for insomniacs and blackjack diehards. The Poker Palace has been around since the 1970s, and Maddie's Paddy Cafe has aged with it, in the best and most beige way possible. Now don't come expecting farm-to-table or craft cocktails with basil foam. This is a place where, to me, it seemed everything came from a Cisco truck, and no one's pretending otherwise. What you do get is comfort food served by people who genuinely seem to care, at prices that feel like they time-traveled in from the Reagan administration. Let's talk first about the T-bone, a 14-ounce slab of seasoned beef served 24/7 for under $16. Ours arrived hot and glistening, blanketed in a coat of salt, pepper, and what might be mustard seed, probably some kind of steak fairy dust as well. It was cooked rare, just as ordered, and sliced like butter. You get grill marks, a solid char, and that smoky edge that says, "Hey, we're trying here." No, it's not steakhouse quality in my book, but for the price, who's complaining? The mashed potatoes on the side came topped with gravy, which might have been born in a packet, but still got the job done. The dinner roll wasn't homemade either, but it was warm and fluffy and good enough to sponge up the last of the meat juices. Not homemade might be this kitchen's unofficial motto, but for the price, a very respectable steak. And then there's the 10-ounce New York steak. Another solid win. Well seasoned, juicy, and with tender, flavorful fat that doesn't require dental insurance to chew through. No overwhelming liquid smoke, just a straightforward, tasty steak cooked to spec. The loaded baked potato on the side came with melty cheddar, real bacon bits, and a respectable slab of butter. You won't mistake it for a Ruth Chris side dish, but you also won't be stuck washing dishes to pay for it. One warning, the vegetables. Yes, they seemed frozen to me. Yes, they taste like they were steamed in a plastic bag. But that's kind of par for the course these days, at places charging quite a bit more than Maddie's Paddy. So, quite the mixed bag at Maddie's Paddy. The steaks were quite good, especially in their price range. I felt the rest was less than stellar and nothing I'd want to run off and brag about to my friends. Apart from the steak, the best part of Maddie's Paddy was the vibe. It's the way locals greet the staff by name and swap life updates between bites. It's the unpretentious, come-as-you-are feeling that's become a rarity in Vegas. And of course, Maddie's Paddy's greatest appeal is the price. With $38 omelets and gold-flecked cocktails trending just a few miles south on the Strip, this place offers a decent alternative for bargain hunters. Just a little west of the Strip lies an oasis for steaks, drinks, and down-home comfort food. It's called Oasis Bar and Grill. While many spots in Vegas lean hard into either gaming or dining, Oasis strikes a nice balance, dedicating a hearty portion of its space and soul to the kitchen. It first opened its doors in 2019. Since then, it's become a go-to neighborhood hangout, especially for locals looking for solid food, cold drinks, and a no-frills atmosphere where everybody really might know your name. When we saw giant Bavarian pretzel on the menu, we knew we had to try it. And let me tell you, my Bavarian friend Bettina would have lost her mind. Ever since she left Europe, she's been chasing down that authentic pretzel fix. Anytime she spots one on a menu, it's an automatic order. Well, Bettina, grab your mustard. We found your new spot. This one's big enough to share, though you probably won't want to. It's baked fresh to order, so be patient. When it arrives at your table, it's piping hot, golden brown, and served with warm cheese sauce, coarse brown mustard, and where it's split, it's coated with butter. Personally, I like to slather on a bit of classic yellow mustard as well. Call me old school. Soft, salty, and wonderfully yeasty, this is how you start a meal off right. Every dinner entree at Oasis comes with your choice of the homemade soup of the day or a salad. We went with the house salad. That turned out to be a great decision. Our server, Bunny, yes, Bunny, and she's as sweet as her name, brought us both the ranch and blue cheese dressings to sample. Both are house-made, and both are absolutely delicious. The salad itself isn't an afterthought either. It's got baby spinach, crisp iceberg, and golden homemade croutons that actually crunch, not those stale cubes you get from a bag. The ranch is creamy and tangy with just the right kick, while the blue cheese has bold flavor and contains real chunks of blue. You know it's legit when it bites back a little. Now onto the star, the 12-ounce New York steak. Thick, juicy, and so tender you can slice it with a butter knife. It's perfectly seasoned with a seared crust that packs flavor into every bite. Even the fat on this steak is melt-in-your-mouth delicious. And as a nice little bonus, it comes with a fire-roasted jalapeno on the side. It brings a gentle heat, not too wild, just enough to make you feel alive. We went with the fries as the side. They're golden, not greasy, and the oil they're using is clearly fresh. I brought my homemade ketchup, and let's just say it was the perfect pairing. And here's something worth clapping for. They serve real, fresh vegetables, not frozen. Steamed, and then lightly sautéed in garlic and butter. You can actually taste the freshness, and that garlic butter finish seals the deal. At just under $22, the dinner delivers way above its price. From the steak to the salad, it's a full meal done right, with care, flavor, and a little charm on the side. For the second steak entree, we went with today's soup, chicken lemon rice. Apparently, it's an old recipe from a former Greek chef who used to work here, and thankfully it stuck around. The broth is rich, the chicken tender, and the rice has bite, not mushy at all. You can taste the thyme and the brightness of fresh lemons, which, by the way, they're not stingy with. If you're a lemon lover, this place has you covered. Now, on to the main event, a 16-ounce T-bone cut, topped with buttery sautéed onions and mushrooms. Underneath that flavorful tangle, a rich brown reduction sauce that ties it all together. The steak itself is tender, loaded with umami. Unfortunately, T-bones these days come very thin, so it's nearly impossible to get one rare. The onions and mushrooms offered up another heaping of umami goodness, and the reduction sauce, beautiful. It really brought this T-bone to another level. Overall, a very delicious 16-ounce T-bone. We chose mashed potatoes this time, and I'm very glad we did. They're fresh, not the boxed kind, and finished with garlic, real butter, and heavy cream, just the way I like them. The gravy is homemade as well, no shortcuts here. They also served up fresh vegetables once again, which would have made my mom proud. And did I mention the garlic bread? It's included with the meal, and unlike most bar and grill places, this is actually good. Crisp edges, soft inside, and garlicky enough to keep vampires away until the warm safety of sunrise. I know, we should have titled this video, Unbeatable Steak Deals with Dessert. But what are you gonna do? Okay, so they don't bake it in-house, but that won't matter once you take a bite. We tried the salted caramel praline, and let me tell you, it's a masterpiece. Silky smooth and ultra creamy, the cheesecake is rich, with an almost toasty depth of flavor. The crunchy praline gives it just the right contrast, while the fresh caramel adds a buttery sweetness, ties it all together. It brings indulgence right to the brink without crossing the line. A sweet ending worth saving room for. So what did we learn today, fellow steak seekers? Well, in 2025, with prices on a steady rise, you can still find unbeatable steak deals around Las Vegas if you know where to look. There's Rira Irish Pub at Mandalay Bay. It delivers hand-carved interiors straight from Ireland and a Friday deal that knocks their 12-ounce grass-fed New York strip with their amazing fries down to just $22.47. Rira isn't just a hidden gem, it's a full-on pot of gold. Then there's the Lakes Lounge, where old-school charm and comfort food still rule at a very reasonable price. The Bonfire delivered bold, from-scratch flavors with serious biker bar swagger thanks to the passion of Chef Mario. Maddie's Patty Cafe gave us classic Vegas nostalgia, budget eats, and a T-bone that was bare bones, hands down, a budget deal. And finally, Oasis wrapped it all up with a pair of steaks, killer sides, and the kind of friendly neighborhood vibe you can't fake, unless we forget an amazing cheesecake. Whether you're chasing flavor, value, or just a good old-fashioned meat coma, keep your forks handy, because Let's Eat Vegas is your guide to the good, the bad, and the delicious. We'll be back to all these places soon. Who knows, maybe you'll see us there. And don't forget to tell them Let's Eat Vegas sent you. This would be a good time to hit the notifications bell so you get a reminder when the next review becomes available. And of course, it's always a good time to like, subscribe, comment, or share. It's free to do so, and it helps us to grow and to bring you more reviews. Until we eat again, bon appetit!